Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video we'll be giving you the preview of Manchester United's crucial and must-win game against Manchester City. Now we know it's going to be a tough game and it's a huge game for Erik ten Hag. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the media around Manchester United at the minute, but we have got a huge game and it is a must-win game. I mean, we all know how important it is, especially because it's a Manchester derby. We lost to them at the start of the season and we need to get a positive result again. I think the importance of this game is massive, and Manchester United, in my opinion, have got we must do everything in order for us to win the game. Now I'm sure it's going to be a very, very tough game, but it's going to be a fascinating one to say the least. I think we're going to learn a lot about ourselves in this game, and it can be a huge eye-opener for Erik ten Hag. I think Manchester City, we know they're one of the best teams in the world. We know how much we hate saying that, but they are just the facts. Yeah, it is very difficult to see at the minute because Manchester City are doing really, really well and Manchester United are nowhere near that. But hopefully with the new ownership we can slowly emulate what they're doing, because they are one of the best teams. They have the best manager and they play the best brand of football now. On the pitch it's going to be very, very tough. I think Erik ten Hag knows that, and I think the way he's going to set it might be very, very different to what we're expecting. I think he must look to pack out that midfield, because that's going to be an area where Manchester City look to exploit, especially on the break. But let's get into team news for both teams. So Manchester United, with obviously out no Martinez, no Shaw, no Martinez, no Shaw, no Maguire. We're basically the same squad against Forest. No Wan-Bissaka. So it's going to be a very, very thin Manchester United squad, but it's all about using the players that we have. I think, in my opinion, it would be nice to have our Højlund back, on Martinez back. But obviously, it's going to be unfortunate. We're going to have to go without them. I think, yes, that Forest game was dreadful, and we played really, really bad in it. But this is a Manchester derby. It's kind of like a one-off occasion, and we must do everything we can to win it. Now, Manchester City, they're without some big players. Well, not big players. I mean, Jack Grealish is out, but he is a big player for them. And coming up against Doku, don't know if that helps the low or not. Now, let's get into, so how do we actually beat Manchester City? It's going to be very cagey. City at home, they're going to dominate possession. They play a 3-back system. They get the 4-backs really, really wide. And they have that role where it's either Akanji or John Stones driving into midfield. And they also slot into a centre-back position really, really well. So that is a huge concern. I mean, Manchester United do struggle to track runners, and that's something that's probably going to be highlighted in the game. I think the importance of marking runners in this game is going to be vital. And as I said, City play that role where they have a player who's roaming, and that allows them to transfer the ball really quickly, and they can knock the ball around for huge moments of time. So it's all about how Manchester United keep their composure on the ball and the momentum. I think the quality for us on the break certainly got to be there. And we're not gonna have loads of touches in the game. It's all about, with the chances and the touches that we have, it's all about utilising those moments. I think, as I said, Manchester City is going to be a really tough game, and I probably expect Manchester United to lose the game. Yes, I know it's a derby, but the way Manchester City play, it's absolutely fantastic. And there are vulnerabilities to Manchester City. I think, yes, they win games and they play some good football, but I think their defence has been quite dodgy recently. They do concede a lot of goals, and that could be something Manchester United have probably looked at on the counter-attack. I mean, we've got some pacey wingers, pacey attackers. So, yeah, I think the Diaz, Akanji, Ake, whoever plays at the back for them, there's definitely room for exploitation. I think Chelsea did it to them really well. They should have scored a few more goals than they did. And it's all about creating those chances and we've got to be clinical. We've missed some huge chances in some games this season where we probably could have won. And it's all about taking those chances, because we don't want to look back with regrets. As I said, the way we can beat Manchester City is on the counter-attack, moving the ball really quickly, and that might be dropping some players that you don't want to see dropped. I think for me in this game, you've got to compact that midfield. I think that's where Manchester City used to transition the ball. That's the area they look to exploit, as well as wide as well. So we could see Erik ten Hag with it to a back 5 system. Now, personally, I would not do that. But Manchester City are all over the place. In a good way, in a good way for them, but not in a good way for Manchester United. The variation, the interchangeability is certainly there, and that could be something that causes United a huge problem leading up to the game. And in the game, I think that just tracking your runners, you can have Foden playing central, he can play out wide, De Bruyne, as I said, varying positions. That's something we need to be careful of. As I said, Rodri's an extremely press-resistant player. It's all about how we monitor him as well, because we know what he can do and how important he is for Manchester City. I think the way that he helps them is vital, and it is a huge concern. Now let's talk about threats from both teams. as I said, Manchester United's threat is probably Rashford now. Obviously, he's done that interview. And whatever you think about that, I did a video on it yesterday. But this is the game now. There's no interview. I know nothing more, as I said, than for Rashford to score and have a big part to play. But it's looking like he'll probably be playing the left wing role. I'll talk about he's going to be playing striker in a moment. But going back to Rashford, I think this game's huge for him. After the comments he said, he's going to have to back it up. He said he's committed to United, so let's see how committed he actually is. I think he is a threat for us, especially on the counter-attack. And finding the ball to him, he does have that moment of quality. And yes, it's frustrating, especially in that Nottingham game, but we did get the win anyway. And we will be facing Liverpool. But going back to Rashford, I think the quality that he's certainly shown has been poor enough this season, but hopefully he's got some things off his chest now and he can continue to develop, because I just want Rashford to score goals on the pitch. Yes, he can have his day off the pitch, but I hope he can just score goals. Now, our second threat for me is one of our players in midfield, Kobbie Mainoo. At 18 years of age, I don't need to talk about him more. I'll talk about him quickly. Absolutely fantastic, and he's going to be a key part in this midfield. Yes, there was that analysis on Sky Sports about his position, and I do agree with that. I think the midfield has looked pretty imbalanced, but it's all about that communication, because he doesn't know which player to mark. And I'm sure Ten Hag has seen what Carragher has done, and he probably has acted upon it. Now, the third and final threat is probably Garnacho for me. I think Garnacho, when he does go 1v1, he is a threatening winger, someone who can get him behind, and it's very a clinical player for us. And as I said, it's all about the moments that we get in the game that are massively going to help us. Now, the next thing I wanted to discuss is the threats for Manchester City. Now, every player in the team can cause problems, but the three important threats for me is Erling Haaland. Now, he hasn't been scoring goals. I mean, he has actually, but the goals for him have dried up. Yes, he scored 5 against Luton in the week, and he looks absolutely brilliant. I think Haaland's relationship with De Bruyne is fantastic, and he is someone who Manchester United need to monitor closely. Last season, he scored a hat-trick against us and is a menace. Early in the season, I think he scored 2. So he is a danger to look out for. He's so physical, so powerful, can drive with the ball, and he's got outrageous power. So we need to be wary of him, but we need to make sure that he's marked at all times, because he is a nuisance and is a problem. He's going to be someone who attracts fouls and gets players into the game, and we need to be careful of that. Now the second player for them is obviously Kevin De Bruyne. Now, we know, obviously, I think he picked up a bit of an injury, but he did get 4 assists in the last game, assisting Haaland 4 times, I believe. And he is a key player and one of the most important players for Manchester City. I think that the consistent quality that he shows is absolutely fantastic. And he is one of the best players in the world. I think if people compare him to Bruno, yes, Bruno's good and he has his own qualities for Manchester United. But I think De Bruyne's just a whole nother level. And we need to be careful of the threat that he has, because he will cause United some huge problems that we need to be aware of, and something that we need to look out for. So, yeah, let's hope we can monitor that. Now, the third player is Phil Foden. A player who's doing really well for Manchester City and slowly cementing this place. Obviously, De Bruyne has been in and out of the team, and he's kind of cemented that spot, and I think he's looked fantastic. He's so skillful, so composed, will easily weave past a few players, and is a menace. He pops up in numerous of positions and can score goals. So it's going to be a tough job for the defence and attack. But let's get into the predicted team. Before I do, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Now, in goal, Andre Onana will start. I think he's done well recently, played well against Forest, kept another clean sheet, build on the momentum. He's going to get lots of shot face from Manchester City, and it's all about how you can keep them out. Now, at right back, obviously Dalot, no Wan-Bissaka. Coming up against Doku will be tough. I think Doku's a skillful winger, but if you train well for the game, I'm sure you'll be able to defend him well. Centre backs, it's going to have to be the same 2 pairs, Varane and Lindelof. And I think Lindelof did alright, to be fair, in the game. And I think Varane looked really good as well. So, happy with them. And they're probably the best we have available. Left back for me, again, has to be Amrabat. I think he did well there against Forest. I know he came up against Alanga and Origi, who are 2 difficult wingers. He's going to be coming up probably against Foden or Bernardo Silva. So he needs to be careful about that. But I think with the way we utilise him in midfield, you're probably going to get more of that or something like that in the game. And I just don't want Manchester United to embarrass us. I think that's the most important thing. Like, just please don't embarrass us, because like, I can take losing, but not in the manners that Manchester United have recently lost and some of the games we've been playing. But anyway, going back to the team, into midfield, it's obviously I would go Casemiro, at the base. I think obviously we know he's going to start the number 6, score the winning goal for us, and his role is going to be just to usher the back four, just get around the place, yeah, and just be composed. Next player is Kobbie Mainoo. I think we need him in there. I think he's got a lot of energy, and that's something we need. I would have Ericsson in there, but I just don't think he has the pace anymore to track back. I think Kobbie Mainoo as well is a bit more technical, is a bit more skillful, and I would just have him there for defence purposes. Number 10, I would actually play Scott McTominay. I would start Bruno Fernandes higher up, because that he would start a false 9 for me. I think I would do that. I would start McTominay at the 8 position. I think we need to compact that midfield. As I said, it's going to be tough for us. Then, as I said, up front, I would go Rashford on the left. I think we can use his pace. Or Rashford on the right, 1 to 2. Garnacho and Rashford on the wings, and I'd go Bruno Fernandes up front now. In my opinion, Fernandes probably shouldn't be playing for United, but with the injuries that we have, he's going to have to start the game. So that is the preview. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a like, comment and subscribe. Peace.